Tuesday, 16th January. It's the middle of January. And welcome to Island Tea. I've got Kortensia here with me. What's up?
I was just going to question that middle of January, but then I realized it has 31 days, so I'm going to let that slide.
But it's still 15, 16, you know.
Yeah, that's why I said I'm going to let it
still in
slide.
the zone.
31.
Yeah,
Good morning, Jamsa. Good morning to the Federation and good morning to the diaspora. Jamsa, how are you doing this morning?
Okay, I guess.
That voice ain't sounding too good, you know. You have the showcase.
Well, that's what they call it?
Well, you know the big song has to be the name of the flu.
The
Showcase.
I thought pressure would have been a better name.
Oh, no, showcase.
The collision song.
So you're showcasing your flu.
Clearly.
Well, since we're on the topic of flu, let's dive right into this one, Jamsa. So this was issued yesterday. So the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Hazel Laws, issues urgent statement on respiratory illness in St. Kitts and Nevis. As the Federation grapples with, and this comes from Caribbean Times, as the Federation grapples with the evolving landscape of respiratory illness, Chief Medical Officer Dr. Hazel Laws has issued a critical statement urging citizens to exercise vigilance and adhere to preventative measures in the light of the recent epidemiological report. Oh boy, these words. From the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, Dr. Laws emphasizes the presence of epidemic levels of acute respiratory disease in the Northern Hemisphere associated with the circulation of the SARS-CoV-2 or COVID-19 virus, influenza virus, and respiratory syncytial virus, the RSV. According to the PAHO report issued on January 8, 2024, SARS-CoV-2 activity in the Caribbean subregion, including St. Kitts and Nevis, has remained at low levels over the past 4 weeks. However, both influenza and RSV activities are fluctuating at moderate levels during the same period. In response, the Ministry of Health is actively maintaining robust respiratory surveillance activities to monitor and detect any increase in respiratory infections. Dr. Laws highlights that SARS-CoV-2 is now epidemic and the society must learn to live with this type of respiratory tract illness. In December 2023, the Federation reported no laboratory confirmed cases of COVID-19. Still, from January 1st to 12, 2024, the MOH has identified 7 laboratory confirmed cases of SARS-CoV-2, one of which was imported. The Chief Medical Officer acknowledges the steady increase in respiratory illness activities, attributing it to the flu season, the influx of travelers and mass gatherings during the Christmas season and carnival celebrations. This annual trend typically peaks between January and March. In her statement, Dr. Law urges citizens to exercise vigilance and adhere to proven preventative measures. Recommendations include getting an updated influenza vaccine, practicing good hand hygiene, avoid touching the face, seeking prompt medical attention for flu symptoms, and practicing responsible behavior by staying home from gatherings when experiencing respiratory symptoms. Dr. Laws concludes her statement by calling on citizens to play their part in reducing respiratory illness activity in the Federation, containing the spread of viral respiratory infections. As the Federation enters 2024, the emphasis is on collective action to maintain the health and wellness of the people. The Office of the Chief Medical Officer underscores the importance of these measures in safeguarding public health and encourages everyone to contribute to a healthier and safer community. So I see some people wearing masks, and I'm like, yeah, at least it's not a big thing for us anymore. Once we see what's happening, we were already taking preventative measures. So once I feel sick now, I put on a mask instantly.
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm.
Like yesterday, I was going home, someone gave me a lift, so I put my mask on.
Oh, nice. So
Yeah,
you help
because,
help that person by not making them sick. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
That is very good.
Well, on the disease front, you saw the story about Barbados where they discovered a case of leprosy.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So leprosy is back as well. Oh boy.
Yeah, the thing is, the good thing is that it's easily treatable with antibiotics.
Okay.
And it's not as contractable as once thought.
Okay.
You know, back in the day, back like hundreds of years ago, they used to
Put them
put
on an
them.
island.
Yeah.
They had a leper colony. I remember
Yeah.
that island. They showed us that when we flew.
Well, apparently it's not that easy to contract it.
Mm.
You may have to get like the fluids and maybe.
It says here, leprosy, also known as Hansen disease, is a chronic infectious disease caused by the bacterium Mycobacterium leprae. It primarily affects the skin, peripheral nerves, and mucosal surfaces of the respiratory tract. While it's less contagious than once believed and is curable with antibiotics, leprosy has been historically stigmatized. Early detection and treatment are crucial to prevent complications and transmission.
Yeah, I'm wondering how that person came into contact with that. That's interesting.
That's weird.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like it. Let me see. I forgot what I was gonna say. Something about that, but I can't remember what it was I was going to say.
I'm pulling up the article now too, because that was just a short excerpt that was put in the chat or chat before. It says,
Oh, yeah, I remember what I was going to say.
okay, go ahead.
We have a Hanson home in Sandy Point,
That's all the way over,
down by the beach.
like
sort
past
of.
by the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think someone pointed that out to me one time when I was at Brimstone Hill.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, they took us to visit it. We went on a field trip.
It was empty at that
We
time?
went to of course.
Okay.
It's been closed like maybe decades before that, but they had we went to Brimstone Hill and then they took us down there as well. And yeah, the Hanson Home was the name of it, and that's where the lepers. And when I looked at it, I was down there maybe a year ago, and I was thinking, well, why can't they use that as a prison? Well, I don't know. It's just sitting there.
What
It's
if
just sitting
stuff
there.
is still in there? Do you think the bacterium goes away? Mm-mm. We don't need an ex-lepers colony, no.
Well, I'm sure there are ways to deal with that if that's a concern. But I was just thinking that whole building is it looks like a fort almost. And no, it does.
No.
Except minus the cannons.
I don't understand why we want to build more jails. We should not want to build any more prisons, man. People should behave themselves and stay outside and have a good
Wasn't
life.
there, good morning to everybody, wasn't there a song saying that there won't be no church anymore, all they'll be building is prison?
And that's so
Yeah.
sad. Why? I know the Bible says the world has to be a little bad, but world, do not bring this promise to pass.
Well,
Can I
mean,
ask them to do that?
I mean, you have to be practical. Whatever you're gonna think about, what it is you're being practical about. But I mean, I don't know. I saw the building and I said that might make a good prison.
Oh boy. Well, Jam, so back to the leprosy situation. I saw Barbados said they had a case in 2022, so that's 2 years ago, and then the last known case was in 2014. So that's pretty far back.
It's
And then
2022. I thought it was just
2014 was
they
the
made it
last
sound
one, and then
like-
2022. No, let me get it
Oh.
clear. Let me get it clear for you. So it says Barbados has recorded a single case of leprosy. The Ministry of Health has confirmed, but Deputy Chief Medical Officer Dr. Arthur Phillips gave an assurance that there was no need for panic. The rare disfiguring disease that was once the scourge of life in Barbados 100 years ago required sufferers to be isolated in a purpose-built leper colony. Wow. This reality is that we usually have 0 or 1 case of leprosy. That's the general trend, Dr. Phillips told Barbados Today in an interview. Right now, we have 1 case that is being treated, and they are coming to the end of their treatment, and they have another month or 2 to go. The last reported case of leprosy in Barbados was in 2022, according to the World Health Organization, and there have been no reported cases since 2014. So the announcement of that 1 leprosy patient was currently being treated came in response to a request by Barbados Today to outline the country's status concerning the disease after St. Lucia reported 11 new cases of debilitating illness, representing a 120% increase from 2020 to 2023. Health authorities in the neighboring islands have already drafted a national plan for the elimination of leprosy from the island, which the World Health Rankings place at 141. Barbados, on the other hand, is ranked 29th. Officially known as Hansen disease, leprosy is a long-term but curable bacterial infection that mainly affects the skin, eyes, nose, and peripheral nerves. Although it can spread from person to person, scientists said it is not spread through casual physical contact like shaking hands. They say the disease-causing Mycobacterium leprae bacteria are transmitted by droplets from an infected person's coughs or sneezes during a prolonged period of close contact. Worldwide, 2 to 3 million people are estimated to be permanently disabled because of leprosy. India has the greatest number of cases, with Brazil second and Indonesia third. At highest risk are those living in endemic areas with poor conditions such as inadequate bedding, contaminated water, and insufficient diet, or other diseases such as HIV that compromise immune function. Wow.
Yes.
I'm going to stop there, but
Wow.
yeah.
Somebody's asking here if we have any statistics for St. Kitts, but we don't know.
Zero.
Well,
I'm going to say zero because we don't need that around here.
yeah,
No, we
well-
don't have any statistics.
Well, I have not heard of any statistics.
No.
Yes. Whether or not it, sometimes maybe the ministries might have, or the health departments might have, and we are not aware. But from what I have seen, I haven't seen any statistics showing that from my viewpoint.
Look at this, y'all. Before we continue, more than 300 acres were embarked in the late 1860s for the site of a sprawling leper colony and burial ground at Bat Rocks, which became known as Lazaretto, becoming a leper hospital by 1910. The former Pelican Island was a quarantine for leprosy before it was closed and the island absorbed into Bridgetown Port. So they separated. Sounds so bad, boy. Oh, boy.
But
We have to be vigilant. A lot of things are out there. I see St. Vincent have the H1, N1. Oh boy, swine flu. What's going on?
we just have to be cautious and
Very
careful.
cautious. You heard what we were talking about before you came
Which
with the
one?
respiratory stuff
Yes,
with the CMO.
Yes.
Yeah, we have to be careful. And as I was telling Jamsa, I noticed that we are a very proactive federation and people. I see a lot of people wearing masks without being told that, you have to wear a mask because of what's going on. People are very cautious. The mask is no longer our enemy. I'm happy that it has become our friend.
Yes, but traveling and looking at because just before we had the corona outbreak, I visited Hong Kong and Beijing, and
you.
the persons there, the Chinese, they were wearing masks everywhere. So when corona hit and COVID-19 and everyone had to wear masks, I said to myself, they already used to it, because in their normal gathering, going back and forth on the street, persons were with their face mask, and it's basically because of the air quality there, and so it was just a way of life. And we just have to be careful as it relates to that. I mean, sickness and diseases, they're out there, they've been out there, but we just have to be very cautious and take preventative measures, put those in place. Just looking at the news, I would say that, Trump is on his way. He is steadily progressing. And based on this article, it says Trump notches a commanding win in the Iowa caucuses. So the former president, Donald Trump, scored a record-setting win in the Iowa caucuses on Monday, with his rivals languishing far behind. A victory that affirmed his grip on the 2024 Republican presidential nomination. And he says, in what was the lowest turnout caucus in a quarter century, so it's very low turnout, Participants endured life-threatening cold and dangerous driving conditions to meet in hundreds of schools, churches, and community centers across the state. But those who ventured out delivered a roughly 30-point win for Trump that smashed the record for a contested Iowa Republican caucus with a margin of victory exceeding Bob Dole's nearly 13-point percentage victory in 1988. He says, too, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis finished a distant second, just ahead of the former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley. The results left Trump with a tighter grip on the GOP nomination, though it could take several more months for anyone to formally become the party's standard bearer. The magnitude of Trump's victory, however, posed significant questions for both DeSantis and Haley. Neither candidate appeared poised to exit the race, though they leave the Iowa struggling to claim making much progress in trying to become Trump's strongest competitor. Having repeatedly vowed vengeance against his political opponents in the recent months, Trump offered a message of unity in his victory speech. We want to come together, whether it's Republican or Democrat, liberal or conservative, he said. We're going to come together. It's going to happen soon. So based on what we have seen that former President Trump, he won the Iowa caucus and is steadily going towards to be the choice, perhaps, for the Republican. Do you
want Jesus? No, give us Barabbas. And that's exactly what they're doing again. That's crazy.
Yeah, so we're going to see. It's still some road ahead. It's still seeing who is going to emerge the candidate or the party's bearer, as persons say, for the Republican. And again, still some road to go. We realized too that St. Martin had its election.
You see that 4-party coalition happening there?
Yes.
4 whole parties, Azard. Boy, oh boy, I hope the difference of the minds don't clash and then it's one big burgadung.
Mm-hmm. What was interesting to me looking at the results is the fact that so many parties were involved. So many candidates were involved. And at the same time, the ruling party at the time before the elections secured 4 out of the 15 seats. They previously won 6 of the 16 and 6 of the 15. And for any party to gain majority, they needed 8. So it's interesting that party had 4 seats, but every other person who got 2 grouped up together to make the 8. So 4 parties grouped up together. They each got two MPs in. I say seats, but you're not going via constituencies. You're going based on the MP based on how they structure and based on the percentage that they got from the overall. And so you see 4 from the parties. And then you see 2, and then 3. And so all the 2s came together to make the 8. And so there's going to be a new prime minister sworn in whenever that time comes.
So Miss Fox lost, Silveria?
She's no longer. So it says here, in the wake of the 2024 parliamentary elections, the Dutch Caribbean island of St. Martin is undergoing a major governance shake-up as 4 political parties officially signed a historic coalition agreement heralding the beginning of a new era of collaborative governance. So the United Resilient St. Martin Movement, Democratic Party, Party for Progress, and the Nation Opportunity Wealth came together in a momentous signing ceremony showcasing a commitment to unity and the progress for the betterment of St. Martin and its citizens. This coalition, a first of its kind in St. Martin's political landscape, represents strategic alliance aimed at addressing challenges and capitalizing on opportunities. Yes, so it is going to be a coalition government like no other in St. Martin. All 4 parties, 2 seats each, And so it says here, in the 2024 parliamentary election held on Thursday, we saw 129 candidates from 8 political parties vying for 15 parliament seats. Parliamentary results indicated, PM Jacobs, she secured 4 seats. However, the 8 seats needed for a majority, the coalition parties strategically aligned their strengths with the National Opportunity Wealth and Party for Progress, each securing 2, and the United Resilient St. Martin Movement and Democratic Party both securing 2. And there was another party that secured 3. So it's really, from an outside perspective of, I'm thinking that they perhaps had a communication before, because they had one party, former party with 4, then another party with 3. That would have made 7, but no one thought to team up with them to make the 9, because they're 7 plus any 2 would make 9, the majority. But they said, you know what, we're going to leave them over there, and all of us over here, we're going to put all our 2s together to make the 8, leave the 7 outside.
I pray they work together, because every coalition I've seen around the world and in the Caribbean has fallen apart. Even in my own country of Guyana, that was a coalition government, and you see last election they were sent back in. I don't know. No. Yes.
And even here in St. Kitts and Nevis, we had a coalition government from 2015 to 2022, and before that with the People's Action Movement and the NRP, coalition government again in the 1980s. Somewhat of a coalition government with the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party and NRP to an extent, but it wasn't to the same measure. It was basically
the previous one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially the last one that we had with 2015, where they actually, all those separate parties campaigned really together. Yeah. So it was interesting. Whether or not we're going to see a coalition again in the near future is left to be seen.
Boy.
Yes. Especially what is happening. We see we see on the social media major developments. We see so many messages being sent as it relates to, what seemed to be the former special advisor, Big Lice. There is news being circulated that he no longer has that position. News have been circulated indicating that he no longer has that position. I have not seen an official statement as yet from the government indicating such, or I have not seen an official statement from him or his pages, so to speak. But based on what is being circulated, that seemed to have been what transpired based on what the persons are saying. Again, I have not seen any official notice or information from him or the government body. But we've seen that a lot of things are happening. We see too that just on the social media, I saw that the Honorable Marsha Henderson constituency number 2 is holding a branch meeting, and you
got me hungry there for a minute.
I know, I was thinking brunch, but I mean branch. So and then the music started playing, so Jams are probably thinking, okay, we're getting brunch in here. No, it's branch.
It's branch.
So the branch meeting, whenever that is, but it shows that things are happening, and there's so many commentaries and so many persons having opinions now as it relates to what is happening in the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. There is conversation whether or not the opposition is going to do what it takes to come together, do what it takes to put in measures in order to be seen as a formidable party that could oppose the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, who in this time seem to have a lot of moving parts. There are so much conversation as relates to whether there is old Labour, new Labour, whether there's Jew Labour, Douglas Labour. So many conversations are happening at this point in time. So many persons are talking about so many things within that political party, and to see what is going to actually happen. a lot of persons making their own commentary, you know, persons,
Do you think that people or the electorate have faith in another coalition government? Because I think the people of the Federation has finally realized that they have the power. And once you're not going to do what you're going to do and you're going to do nonsense, we're going to get rid of you, right? So do you think that there will be another rise of a coalition government on the horizon?
I think that anything is possible. I think I have lived long enough in my 34 years. I have lived long enough to see that things that you thought impossible happen.
Okay.
Persons who you thought disliked each other working together for a common purpose.
To get rid of.
Yeah. So I say to myself, you know, anything is possible, and you know, whether or not it's going to be like the same, whether or not it's going to be, you know, different, it's left to be seen. But definitely there is going to be need for a really strong opposition, already capable opposition, to come forth in order, because you know, you hear it on the ground. Persons come and they talk about whether the opposition is ready, and you can't get around that because persons come continuously, and so that is what is being said in minds of persons. Is the opposition or the opposition to the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party ready to do what it takes? And so that is a conversation that persons are having. In addition to that, we see if it is that there's a lot of rumbling within political parties, are they meeting? You know, persons have been speculating, persons have been saying that there might not have been cabinet meetings. I don't know if that is true. I'm not there. I'm nowhere close. But those are things that persons are saying, whether or not the cabinet is meeting as they should, and perhaps when is the last meeting. I don't know whether or not that is true or not, because I'm not a member. I don't know even if they were to meet or not, whether they did or not. You understand? But that is conversation that has been being circulated on the ground. And, you know, a lot of conversation take place on the ground outside of the walls of government headquarters and the like.
It always baffles me, right? How these things get out and then the public makes a big deal out of it. It's like everybody happy to get some million on somebody. Boy, jeez. But that's why I don't think what do you call it? What was the rule that was set?
Yes.
You understand? Help me here. What is it called? Not whistleblower. What is it called? Secrecy? Secrecy don't work nowhere. They have you sign something and somebody's still gonna sneak the secret, still gonna sneak something out.
Yes.
Because how do they know? And let me tell you, when the stuff come out here, we make it so juicy, boy. What if it's not that way?
Mm-hmm. So do you think that a coalition would work in St. Kitts and Nevis?
Boy, not again.
What?
Because the last one was just rough, and then the pompousness of a Fire 6 and all of that. That wasn't nice.
But if you think, but do you okay? If you think the same, if you have different characters.
So who are we gonna get?
If you have different characters.
Are you gonna go? Personality.
If you have different personalities, different persons, would your opinion be the same? Do you think that coalition doesn't work across the board?
We all.
Or you think maybe it's based on persons? It
can work if all the personalities and persons are on the same page. But once somebody decides to slip off track, problems come. Azard, you see what happened the last time. You see you know what happened in the past. I don't know. I'm still learning. I see what happened in Guyana. I see what happened in other Caribbean islands that have coalition government. I'm praying that St. Martin works now, because it doesn't work. Somebody believes that somebody is getting more power and somebody's doing this and somebody's doing that. And then the fighting begins. And
you said that because it's a coalition. But look at single parties. Look at where infighting begins in parties that are within parties.
Because
like, for example,
the former PLP, not the former PLP, the PLP leader came out of the ruling government.
Yeah, so we have seen also where you might not be a part of a coalition government. You may be a part of a party, but there's infighting in that party. And because of the infighting, that party loses momentum, loses focus, and loses the election. And so coalitions, if we take it for what it is, different parties coming together for one common purpose, you know.
I like your tagline. I doubt they're gonna. Oh,
and you
boy.
have disagreements and they fall apart. The same happens if you don't have a coalition and you have a single party. Look at it. Persons are speculating at this point in time with the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. There's no coalition. There are different persons. I'm not going to say characters within that party. And so you're seeing and you're hearing the movement and the shaking. And that is one party. That's no coalition.
No,
so
that's
it just
wrong.
means that whether it's a coalition or whether it's a single party, once you have disagreement, a difference of opinion that persons can't reconcile, there's going to be
You sound like a marriage gone bad boy. Because it'll kill me how we'd be so in love and then the next time I hate you. Can't stand you. Divorce me. Don't talk to me. Don't watch me. I'm taking the kids. I'm taking everything. It's this, boy, life rough.
what Ricardo Drew and Patrice said, you know,
Oh, Lord.
toxic.
This is real toxic behavior in any part of life. It doesn't even have to be male and female relationship. The toxicity just seems to extend to every part of life, including our political parties.
Yeah.
Lord.
Sure, let's take a call.
Oh, boy.
Caller.
Caller, go ahead.
Yes. Good morning.
Good
morning.
morning, Mr. McMahon.
I'm sorry you sound very quiet. I thought you were waiting a long time ago. But anyway.
He's not doing his best, Mr. McMahon, but he's
Mr.
trying.
Mama, how you just leave Jamsa alone this morning?
Okay. Sorry, Dancer. It seems as if we're headed for the same kind of forever coalitions.
Boy.
Okay, because just like how it is in St. Martin, I think BVI went through that at some point as well.
And it didn't work.
Well, the thing is...
But single parties
you
don't work
have
all
to-
the
you have
time
to
either.
decide- No, but you have to decide what is best for the country. Okay? We're still relatively young, a young country,
Yes.
and we're still, I think, struggling to find our way. Okay? One may argue that a two-party, I think yesterday I said that, you know, I was nostalgic about a two-party system where you have a clear alternative, one party in government at a time, fulfilling its promises and policies, and you have an alternative in waiting if we don't find acceptance by the electorate. Nice and simple. But the thing with that is, as we see now, you can have a party in power that is factionalized, and you end up in the same bad place. Okay? If you have a party and you don't have some kind of overall mantra, overall ideology that glues the party, all the party members together, you're going to have trouble, right? And that glue cannot be power, because if it's power, then you're going to have people jockeying for power, right? It has to be something more than just power that hold a party together, right? And I think that, though, it's good when you have I wouldn't, maybe I should say dissenting voices in a party, because what it does is essentially prevent the kind of secrecy and lack of transparency that we normally have in government. Okay? Somebody ends up being a whistleblower, or somebody ends up being dissatisfied with what's going on, and then come out and the public then knows about it. What amazes me is, despite all the legislation and regulations about good governance practices and so on, things still seem to be able to happen, and the public is not aware of it. I don't understand how that, and that is why, you know, they said it's all well and good to have legislation and so things have been operationalized, but if you don't see it working, then we're nowhere the better.
Mr. Mahan, may I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on coalitions in terms of being able to govern? Do you think that they do well governing?
They are inherently unstable.
Okay, what are your thoughts on single parties being able to govern?
It makes for more stability, but there have to be checks and balances in single parties governing. Because you see, there's another alternative, you know. Mm-hmm. And I would like to hear more about the Guyana thing where they have proportional representation.
But
because at least there you don't have the winner takes all thing. Mm-hmm. I think it's the winner takes all thing that causes a lot of the problems, where a party might win with, let's say, 51% of the votes, and the other party or collection of parties with 49 end up just being marginalized totally.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
That is bad as well.
It's something to consider because, as you said rightfully, a party might get 51% of the votes but end up with all 8 seats. In a sense, you just win by 1 in each constituency, but you're still able to get 51% of the popular vote. There might be a situation. There might be a situation on this flip side that you don't get the popular vote, but you win the majority of seats. Where I think that has happened. That has happened before. I think.
Which itself is unstable. Okay, I mean that goes against the grain of democracy in the sense that, generally speaking, democracy is about majority rule and one man, one vote. So you would expect that the party with the most votes would form the government.
But history has shown too, Mr. McMahon, if we talk about coalition governments, history has shown that single party rule has also shown here in St. Kitts and Nevis to be could be kind of explosive as well, and parties implode too. If you look at perhaps the St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party back in the day, let's say before the 1980s, you talk about persons talk about Southwell and Limor. We look at
but what I'm saying is a lot of that depends on things like the personality of the leader, right? I mean, a leader has to be very wise and visionary and all that to be able to hold a group of supposedly strong-willed, strong-minded people together, right?
If
and you don't do that by being dictatorial. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have to be consultative.
Yeah, even if you look at the People's Action Movement, Mr. Matt Mahan, with Sir Kennedy and Powell, Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister, and you see that breakaway, and then you saw the People's Action Movement losing in constituency number 1, and then having 4-4, and then ultimately losing in the next round. Then you see Dr. Douglas. And you see Dr. Timothy Harris too, same Labour Party, Dr. Douglas pulling away, Sam Condon pulling away, and the Labour Party losing. So, though they have been coalition governments that have failed, they have also had single party rule, which
I'm not disputing that. And what I'm saying is, a lot of that, as you can tell from our history, depends on personalities of our leaders, because those are the ones who instigate these things, right? And what I'm saying too is that if you have someone who is prepared to do the correct thing, the proper thing, rather than have politics as usual or business as usual, do the correct things, we would not have these problems. But when you have, take a simple example. You know what could have prevented all this speculation and so on? If we had more transparency. And you know how to get more transparency? Mm-hmm. If a simple thing like all the boards that are appointed must have at least one member, not the chairman, but one member appointed by opposition elements. A simple regulation, but that would work wonders.
Yep, because you'll always have somebody to make them think. You'll always have somebody to make them think.
Yes, and be very circumspect with what they do.
Yeah.
All right, But I mean, so like I said, we're still feeling our way. There is perhaps an opportunity, which I think has faded into the background, where we tweak our systems, our constitution, that we implement things like recalls and those sorts of checks and balances against the abuse of power. Because in the final analysis, this is what it normally comes down to. Abuse of power, this one winner takes all thing, reward friends and punish enemies, that kind of politics is still being practiced. Yeah. And that always gets us into trouble. And if, in the final analysis, it goes back to what I've always said. And if we don't like the governance that we're getting, right, at the earliest opportunity, we change. There's absolutely no reason to accept the status quo. Yes. Right? And you said,
you often said change, right?
Who can we choose as an alternative in where we have a fractured opposition? The answer is change still.
Okay, because we have another caller.
Would get at some point somebody.
We have another caller, so we're going to hear what the other caller says. Thank you so much. Thank you for your contribution.
Caller, go ahead.
Yes, good morning, all.
Hi,
good night, Rusty.
Good night, Rusty. Yes. Good evening, Rusty. How are you doing?
Kortensia.
Hi.
That's right, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I now remember where I know you from. I remember you was walking on the bypass road and a gentleman was driving you. Okay, I remember you from that. Anyway, story. Let me answer as that question. I believe in a political party. I don't let the collision stop. The problem with the individual party is that they fight within each other. I want this, I want that. You mentioned about Michael Powell and Dr. Simmons. And, I don't know the story about it, but it turned out to be a not so good story. I believe in a party where Pam has 8 seats, Pam needs to win 6 seats, and we don't have to join up with anybody. If they want to come and join with us, fine. That is beyond that. Yeah. I want to get to a serious point. It's about what happened or supposedly happened to Big Lights. Now, I don't know if it's true or not, but that is not my concern, right? My concern is if the cabinet forced the prime minister to fire somebody that he had confidence in, it simply says to me that those guys who have done that have other objectives in mind. I listened to a show this morning last night for you, and they said that the UN ambassador is out of a job. Somebody's in the position now. So that means that's 2 things that they have done to the prime minister. Now, here is my thing. People got to be thinking, I said from the time the Labour Party won, that they're not going to last 2 years like Unity. I did say, go back on my Facebook page, read it if you want. They didn't believe me. A lot of things that some people think I just talking crazy, But listen, because the cabinet now has the power and exercise the power, there are a few things that happen. You can have a reshuffle cabinet. You can have vote of confidence, and you can have what's the other one? They go to the prime, they vote on confidence when they go to the governor general.
Governor general, yeah.
And they ask him to replace the prime minister.
Yeah.
And you're gonna see how easy that option works. It's not gonna happen like when the 6th guy went against the 1 guy and with the other governor, and that it's not gonna happen like that. It is not going to happen like that. You know who the governor general is? Dame Library. You know who she is? You know what she's going to do. And it's the end of June. It is the end of June. Listen, I am sorry for you. As a PAM man, I'm sorry for you. Because I'm a young person in politics. I'm in politics since I'm 12. I'm going to be 57 this year. The thing is, I try my best to say to them, he's a young man, give him a chance. Let's see what he can do. But immediately, let's see man start. Me and even get a month to compliment him with what he's doing. I didn't want he just start doing the political stuff. You can't run a country like that. He messed up himself, and now the party is now here to attack it. That's all I want to say for now.
No.
But it's sad that we have to go through that.
Very sad. Very sad. I want to read some comments from the from the Facebook page. And Roberto Chapman says, politicians will do anything to grab power. Jackie Greer said, yes, she think it can work again. I guess that's a collision. Greed caused the last breakup. Dave Livingstone said, St. Martin coalition will not last. 4 parties with different goals is a disaster in the making. Cleo Rogers said, at the end of the day, it boils down to greed. Jackie Greer, single party doesn't work all the time either. Cleo Rogers said, we have one bunch of legislation in SKN that don't amount to hogwash because they're not enforced, just words on paper. Jackie Greer said, we need more visionary leaders to think of the overall development of St. Kitts and Nevis long-term projects to develop our island and our people. And I like that. And somebody made a comical one. We have more board in government in SKN than in the school them. Wow. And they also, Avril McCoy's warning, Pam needs to stay away from big lies. They don't need him.
We have a caller. Caller?
Caller, go ahead.
Greetings.
Greetings. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for taking our call. Okay. We seem to be forgetting who we are as the people, and that's going to leave us in some serious trouble, Yeah. We are a people who was taken away from a continent. Are we still online?
Yes.
Yes.
Who was taken away from a continent as human cargo. All right. We are still sojourning in the plantation lands where they scatter us and disperse us here and there. All right. This Westminster-style politics do not belong to us. And we seem to be digging deeper and deeper and deeper inside of it, which all it is doing is dividing us, stopping us from focusing in unison as a people to get out of the isms that the 400 and odd years of physical enslavement leave us in. And we seem to take in delight in the mental enslavement that we are now in. We have to dash where this Westminster-style politics ism that we are... What you know? Me, presently, there East Parkway. And me look on a government building, what they call it, NHC?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The house building there, where we deal with housing.
Yes.
And all around, the youth are you trying to clean up, and the stench that is coming from the drain. I hope he don't even have one now. I don't even think they can pay the youth there now. Government building, round and bound.
Hello?
Let me credit down. The northern side is the nastiest.
Oh,
And then you have the eastern side and the western side. Be a nastiness around NHC in the drain. Stink! People passing under for hold the nose. Yeah? And here we are. We are not a nasty people originally, We continually remind us, that we are the Moors who teach other ways cleanliness, And here we are, occupied with all kind of this and that in the Westminster-style politics, and not even concerned about our environment. Mr. Cars run over dead animal, run over plastic bottle. How we get?
Thank you so much, caller. Yes, we're going to take a short break and we'll get back to you.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WIN FM.
Dreaming of that perfect getaway? Hop aboard the Makana Ferry to the breathtaking islands of Saba, Statia, St. Martin, and St. Kitts. Embark on a delightful journey and enjoy sun-kissed beaches, vibrant cultures, and unforgettable experiences. Visit MakanaFerryService.com to book your island-hopping adventure today.
Portsmouth's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less and save more. How, you ask? Essential Everyday and Equiline. Spend less on our Essential Everyday products and get the best quality, the best taste, and the best value. Spend less for all your family health and beauty needs with the Equiline brand of over-the-counter products. Portsmouth's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less with our Essential Everyday products and Equiline over-the-counter health and beauty care products. Shop smart and spend less at Value Mart, where price matters most.
Watch the trail of the insects stop when you spread them with pop. Flying, crawling, insects are falling when you spread them with pop. Nothing comes close to pop. Pop, the Caribbean brand. Pop, the #1 brand. Pop, the baddest in the land. Nothing comes close to pop. When the root bugs get in your way, pull out your pop and give them a spray. When you want insects to stop, nothing comes close to pop. Pop, the Caribbean brand. Get serious, get pop.
If you live in low-lying areas, be aware of the possibility of tsunamis immediately after an earthquake. A strong earthquake lasting 20 seconds or more is a natural tsunami warning. Do not wait for an official warning. Gather your family members and evacuate immediately after the shaking stops. Don't delay. A tsunami could occur within minutes.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with WIN FM.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9 WIN FM.
Inland Revenue Department.
Fasten your frequency. Smart's e-government portal update is presented by Janicia Jeffers. Elevate your tax game with Smarts. Here's another game changer for Smart's e-government portal users. The power to amend your tax return online. If you have initially submitted your return online and need to make changes, it is now easier than ever. Even more exciting, if your revised amount is higher than the initial tax amount, Smarts will automatically assess your return and you would be accessible immediately in the e-government portal. No more waiting. Your updated tax situation is swiftly taken care of. Smart's e-government portal is all about convenience and efficiency. Stay in control of your tax affairs, make amendments hassle-free, and enjoy a smarter tax experience.
Revenue Department. Working for us. We serve Inland Revenue Department.
Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune in to On The Ball, a weekly tour show which is on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Biff Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On The Ball with Troy Biff Mills on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.
Caribbean tourism is dead in the water and wholly dependent on what's next in the United States, Europe, and Canada.
Global cases have now passed 13 million just 5 days after we hit the 12 million mark.
In Jamaica, residents of the parish of Hanover are in shock over the brutal slaying of 6 family members on Thursday night.
Chauvin had his knee on Mr. Floyd's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds in total. It's too much. It's too...
The news does not always have to be about this. There's a lot of good news, good stories, good people, good ideas to talk about. So listen up on Thursdays to Only Good News with your host, Enoite Inanga, from 7 to 8 p.m. It's going to be only good news for 1 hour, where we will share good news from stories and people, locally, regionally, and all over the world. And there's more. You will get to hear from people telling their stories of success, breakthroughs, and perseverance as we feature a special guest each week. It's Only Good News, and it's happening this Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. right after the, regular news. Only Good News on WinFM 98.9 and WinFM.com.
Try and find a way to spend your time in positivity.
And it's 9 o'clock. It's time for our first episode for the year. I'm talking about Weekly Dose with Dr. Natalie Osborne.
So we had our political talk just a while ago, and now we're going to have our medical talk. Because we are versatile over here. We're able to switch between topics. We're able to talk about a number of things. And Dr. Osborne, it's been quite a while. We haven't seen you all year. What have you been up to? You've been so...
She's the one with a long hangover. Yeah. Long post-carnival hangover.
It's been a whole year we haven't seen you.
Happy New Year to everybody. I'm so happy to be back. It does seem like it's been a long time, huh?
It has. All year long, we have not seen you here in the studio.
Well, I'm back now to start afresh for the new year. 2024 is going to bring great things to all of us. I speak it into existence. So we're going to have a great show today, and we're going to have a lovely year.
You do realize when you say that, it means you're not going to make any money, right? Because it means the one is going to get sick.
Well, that's the whole idea. No, but they can just come for their wellness check.
Okay.
Yes.
But Jamsa is feeling under the weather. So Jamsa, you should take a checkup.
Yeah.
So we already have one patient.
At least that's the one for the year so far. It's always good to be back and good to be with you guys here.
Yes. So tell us, we're going to talk about tips, to stay healthy. And this is a very good topic for me, at least. I like these tips, because we all, as we are trying to go through our busy days, we're trying to maintain what we have and trying to also keep ourselves maintained, because sometimes we focus on so many things and we're not focusing on ourselves. So we're here and we're going to ask you the question, how much exercise do we need, or what type of exercise should we do? And it's all about being healthy.
Yes, so you've made an excellent point, because usually when we want to start off the year, we want to start with New Year resolutions and stuff. I generally don't like to say New Year's resolution. We are wanting to speak about lifestyle changes, and we usually want to start the year off with a good footing, and health and wellness is extremely important. That's why we chose this topic today. So we know that it can make a big difference when it comes to lifestyle, can make a big difference when it comes to your overall health, your mental and physical well-being, and the quality of your life. So you know that some of these tips we're going to talk about today are going to be important for longevity, wellness as you go about. So staying healthy depends on a lot of the choices that we make. So you asked about exercise. And that is one of our wellness tips. We always speak about exercise, and I still find that we're not doing enough exercise. So it's important to get moving as often as we can. So what does exercise do? It helps you to feel healthier, more energized, boost your overall mental mood, and get you moving, help you to stay well, and you get a lot of benefits from the exercise. So we want to make sure that we do at least some form of exercise throughout the week. We're not asking for too much. The CDC recommends that you do at least 150 minutes per week. That breaks down to about 22 minutes per day. So let's say you do at least some form of exercise, at least 30 minutes. Let's round it up to 30 minutes. At least 3, 4 to 5 times per week.
That's not too bad.
That's not too bad. What you want to be doing, you want to take a brisk walk, you want to cycle, you want to dance, even just doing the chores around your house. If you're outside mowing the lawn, you're raking the grass, doing different outdoor activities. The important thing is to stay moving and to stay active. all in all, it is very important for overall health. You start sweating, you start feeling invigorated. The positive endorphins, which re-energize you and put you in a better mood, those are very important. So let's get exercising.
Yeah, I have been exercising.
Yes, that's good.
It's amazing. You know, sometimes, you know, you have a long day and you feel overwhelmed, you feel stressed, and then you just do a little bit of exercise, you do a little 30 minutes, maybe an hour, you get into it, and you feel rejuvenated. So I can be testimony to the fact I can give me, you know, I have a testimony, you know, when it comes to exercise, yes.
And we're not asking our audience to be any gym buff. You don't have to go to the gym and lift 100 pounds and you're grunting and screaming there. I am always encouraging my patients, even just take a walk and you move briskly. I do a power walk. If you start with a half an hour, then you can increase it to an hour in your back and forth. But it must be important for us to move.
I know. In our conversation and dialogue, what you have said, you've touched some of the benefits, but I think we need to, like, you know, go into specifically the benefits of persons could hear. What are the benefits of exercise?
So it's going to, one, improve your overall heart health. It's going to decrease your blood pressure. We get all of high blood pressure. Over time, what happens? If the blood vessels aren't relaxed enough, the blood pressure starts moving through it at a higher rate. The blood vessels become narrowed or much smaller than usual, and your blood pressure increases. What exercise does is relax these blood vessels. So usually you can decrease your blood pressure with at least a half an hour of exercise. It boosts your brain health as well too. It may help to improve your cognition. That means like your memory and stuff like that, and it decreases or delays dementia. We're seeing some in their 50s and 60s developing dementia, and all these can be delayed or even somewhat prevented with physical activity. It improves your mood. We spoke about it. Once you start exercising, one of the things that we're having a problem with in the society, lots of persons are depressed or discouraged about all the negativities that we hear going on a day-to-day. So it helps with improving your mood. And overall, you're going to lose weight. Once you start burning those extra calories, you're going to feel much better and you're going to lose weight. And we know the benefits about losing weight in your overall wellness. It decreases your high blood pressure. It helps you to control your blood sugar much better. So we know that we'll get a lot of excellent benefits from doing that.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, you know, strengthen and build your muscles.
Of course. It's a good thing that you're quite aware of this. Of course. As we get older, we know that our bones can become even more brittle. Once you keep exercising, it keeps strengthening your bones, strengthening your muscles, delay the onset of things like osteoporosis or brittle bone, especially in females. And it helps to reduce chronic diseases. What are the common chronic diseases? We've often spoken about them, like diabetes, high blood pressure. Anything that you can do that decreases your overall weight is going to help you with these long-term or chronic illnesses.
Do we know why osteoporosis affects women more? Is women tend to lose calcium more than men?
More than men, and with the changes in your estrogen as you get older, the drop off of some of the natural hormones, a woman loses her estrogen levels as she takes, and it creates so much changes in her body overall. But both genders are losing bone density as they get older, but the females tend to lose it at a greater rate. Hence, you have your older grandparent, if they slip and fall, they could have a fracture of the hip. Okay, so keeping active helps with that. Keep moving. So hence, you may see an elder person who's in their 80s and they're doing quite well, and someone who's in their 70s, they're bedridden. But all of these are the lifestyles that they have acquired many years before in their 20s and 30s.
Yeah. Also, too, I want to ask a question, like, what type of food should persons eat to stay healthy? Because persons have this, and while you go into that, persons have this misconception that if you exercise, you could eat anything and still be healthy because you're going to be exercising. A huge misconception. Okay, you can't work off a bad diet. So tell us, what kind of food?
I like that. That's excellent. Because before going to that, I am guilty of doing this at times. when I'm overeating even somewhat, I'll say, okay, I'll exercise more. Yes. When you have to exercise, you realize, I need to stop eating so much, because here's what. Overall wellness and weight loss is 80% of what you eat. Mm-hmm. If you think about it, and I remember many years ago, Azard, I was looking to an old magazine, and it said it has an example, it had examples of different types of snacks and food that you ate. And I remember like cheesecake, it needed at least 100 sit-ups to burn that calorie from the cheesecake. For example, you had ice cream, 1 scoop, you needed to do 50 sit-ups, for example, and you realize that although we exercise, we do not burn as much calories as we think. So overall, your healthy eating is what's going to keep your weight down. Because we think that if we go and exercise a little bit more today, you can eat as you want. But when you would have consumed 1,000 calories, it's very unlikely when you're going to the gym, you're going to burn that 1,000 calories.
And I want to talk about that too, because, I have my smartwatch, yes. And I track my calories when I work out. And you realize how much hours or how much exercise it really takes to burn those calories. And you could have let's say a burger, hamburger, what it is, and you add thousands of calories that takes perhaps hours to burn or maybe even a whole day.
I completely agree. So what we're doing, we realize that exercising, it does help with the overall, and long term it would help. But in terms of a day-to-day calorie, when you eat 1,000 calories, you're not going to burn easily 1,000 calories to keep it balanced. That is why we increase our weight quite easily. Go ahead.
Sorry, just a quick anecdote. To that point about people feeling that because they're exercising, they can eat anything. There are these 2 twins from Jamaica. I follow track and field. There's 2 twins, Tia and Tina Clayton, right? Yeah. And I watched the video last night on YouTube where their coach made them stop eating junk food and so on, because they tend to eat a lot of KFC and chicken nuggets and the coach, and they interviewed and the 2 of them, and they were saying, well, I realize now that I've lost weight and I'm actually running better and stuff, so,
Yeah, that's excellent. So these food that we need to eat are usually called whole food. What are whole foods? These are foods that have been processed very little or no process, as natural in their natural state, and they do not have much chemicals, or they do not have any preservative to extend their shelf life. And I'll give you another anecdote. I was at home, this is a couple of years ago, and it really did make an impression on me. I had an epiphany at that time. I was opening a can of mackerel, and I looked at the tin, and whatever year it was going to expire at least within 4 years. And I said to myself, why am I eating something? If you had a fish and you put it down there, within hours, it's going to go bad. Yes. But why would I have a can of fish that is going to last 4 years? That really stuck to my mind. And I try eliminating a lot of these canned foods. So these are the type of foods that you want to eliminate. The foods that are processed, highly processed. Correct. They change from their natural state, and they have a lot of preservative. Why should a fish last 4 years? There's nothing natural about it. So you want to make sure that you have foods that are whole foods, that are not heavily processed or altered, and they do not have a lot of chemicals in it. So these whole foods, as Jamak was saying, when the 2 young ladies change their diet, it helps you to be much more healthier, give you all the nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals that you need to be much more healthy and much more active. And ensure their time increase, their athletic time.
They ran some good times over the weekend.
Yes. So we want to make sure that we choose better food. And the less the food, the process of the food, if you could eat as natural from your garden, your fruits, your vegetables, you want to make sure that you have those instead of having anything that is bought in a can, that is in a plastic bag, that is not in a natural state.
So, what are some of the negative effects of processed food?
Of course. We spoke about the benefits of eating whole foods and healthy foods, like your fruits, your vegetables and stuff. So your processed foods, what those are going to do? Those are going to increase your blood pressure. A lot of these juices that we drink, they're high in sodium. You don't want to have those. They're high in sugar. the large quantity of sugar content in these, and these increases your chance of having these chronic diseases, your high blood pressure, your diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is on the rise as we get older. You want to make sure that you do not have heart diseases. Once your blood pressure increases, it affects the heart quite significantly, leading to enlargement of the heart, leading to things like chronic heart failure. You do not want your cholesterol to be increased as well. Cholesterol can leave plaques in your blood vessels, narrowing the blood vessels, leading to heart disease. Plaques can develop in your brain. Those lead to strokes and different and stuff like that. So those are some of the negative effects of eating all of these processed foods.
So let me ask you the question. We talk about the food, and now we're going to talk about sleeping. Why should sleeping be a priority?
Why should sleeping be a priority? Well, that's another benefit.
Yes.
Overall, sleeping is very important for all of the processes that takes place in your body. It's a time for your body to repair the cells and restore your energy. So your brain also performs many functions when you're asleep, like storing and retaining information, removing waste, and strengthening your nerve connection. So we need to make sure that we get as much sleep. And the CDC recommends that most adults get at least 7 hours. I realize, and I see it a lot in some of these podcasts and YouTube thing, everybody's pushing the hustle life and stuff, and thinking that the less you sleep, you're about the money and you're about the hustle, but you need to rest.
They have the team no sleep.
Yes.
I remember at university, they had the team no sleep crew.
No, I said ridiculous.
Yes,
People need to sleep.
Really need to sleep. And especially as you get older, the older folks and the children, they need to sleep. Children need to sleep so that their bodies can grow and become stronger. I see now lots of the younger folks, the children, the minors are staying up much later at nights, 10, 11. They need to be in bed at an earlier time so they can develop their muscles, their bones, and everything.
Awesome. So we're talking here about sleep and making sleep a priority, and we're saying, you know, those persons who say team no sleep, you should really get some sleep, you know.
Can't believe anyone would think that's something to be proud of.
No,
huh?
it sounds cool.
Yeah.
I've been studying all night.
Yeah, I've been, and they make you feel guilty. I
Yes.
haven't put in that hours, you know. But what am I doing? I'm sleeping too much, you know.
But remember, we always speak about the quality instead of the quantity. Because sometimes if you're up saying that you're studying for 8-10 hours, how many of that information are you retaining at that time of the night after your brain is weary? So then you would think that, oh, I did 10 hours. But when it's all said and done, you haven't retained much of that information.
Yes. So how can we ensure, first we're going to look at what are the health risks for someone who lacks sleep?
Yes. Azard, you're going to sound like I'm a broken record. You and I speak about these all year last year. Your high blood pressure, everything, stress, you're much more stressed when you do not get enough sleep. Your blood pressure increase. That then leads to different heart diseases that we spoke about. Okay, you can develop type 2 diabetes. You become anxious. You can become depressed.
Yes.
There's mood swings and mood changes. And your immune system weakens. Hence, those persons are much more prone for developing things, illnesses. You realize certain persons tend to get flu quite a lot, or their body's always, quote unquote, under the weather because they're not resting enough. And it can also lead to different types of cancer. So it is very important that you rest as well.
So how can we ensure that we get enough sleep? What do we do?
To ensure that you get enough sleep, a very important point is that you have got to make sure that the room or the setting where you are, it's as dark as possible. You know that we could put those, what you call that mask over the eyes. Some persons love to get that, or you have your blackout curtains, especially in your bedroom. You want to make sure that the temperature is regulated. So it is said that you want it at least 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit. You want to make sure it's not too hot, it's not too warm, so it's cool. And it helps with your best sleep. making sure that your bedding is comfortable as well. You want to avoid screen time. Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Many of us, we have the TVs right in our bedrooms, and just before we go to sleep, the TV is on. Or you have your cell phone. We all love these cell phones. So you're scrolling through Instagram, you're scrolling, but there's a particular kind of blue light that is emitted from these phones and these television, and this do not allow you to relax, and your brain is still alert, so it makes it much more difficult for us to go to bed.
You know what makes it interesting though? You've been to those perhaps spa parlors and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
They have the music like and those sleeping music help you sleep.
yeah. Like the Calm app.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And you want to create an excellent bedtime routine, as you just said. Take the TV off. You don't want to be working on your computer for at least a half an hour to an hour.
What I should say is there is most of the devices have a night light now where you can you can filter out you can set it so that it filters out the blue. Like all my devices, I have it from 6 p.m. to 7 a.m. So my phone, my laptop, I don't think I did it on my tablet, but yeah.
So what does that do?
It filters out the blue light.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
All of them have that now. Yeah.
You want to take a warm bath before you go to bed.
Also, cold baths and the best.
No, not when you want to relax. Remember, a cold bath gets you stimulated.
Yeah.
You want to remember you're trying to settle down now for the night. So a warm bath. Do some stretches. If you're going to read something, it's best that is not from a tablet or one of those kind of electronics. If you have, remember hardcover books?
Yes.
Do we still use those?
Good old-fashioned book.
Good old-fashioned book. So that would be best. And you want to, Azard, you want to limit the amount of coffee or alcohol or even smoking before
that's not me. That's jam stuff. No, that's jam stuff.
So it is recommended at least 4 hours before you do not have any alcoholic beverages.
I haven't had coffee for about a week now, actually.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So if you're going to have your coffee, your best time is to have your coffee in the morning hours, not when it's time to go to bed, because then you're all hyped up. And so the nicotine inside the cigarette smoking, that helps get you hyper and stimulated. You don't want to have that. Yeah. And those can have a negative impact on your sleep. So you want to make sure. And if you can take some natural sleep aids like the melatonin. It can help you relax at night. What?
Valerian.
Yes.
It's okay
correct.
to moderately take those.
Moderately, and we do not want you to have to use them every single night, or else something else is going on as well.
So what do you say to things like ZQL and so on?
Like these night aids?
Yeah, you think...
That's what I said.
Preferable
everything
to avoid, right?
Yes, in moderation. If you're having a really stressful or you're emotionally in a point where you're not able to relax from time to time, these can be beneficial, but you do not want to become dependent on any of these sleep aids at all.
Yes. So we have our next question. We're going to ask it. And as we listen to what is beneficial for us and how we get enough sleep, we talk about sleep, we talk about food. We also need to talk about one vital thing, water. Why is it important for us to stay hydrated?
Yes, extremely important for us to stay hydrated, because all of the functions that take place within our bodies need water, right down to the cells. They need water for their day-to-day function. So it is important for overall, okay? It impacts the functions of the cell. Like maintaining your body temperature, that's going to be very important. It helps in digestion. It keeps your organs working properly, and it helps to deliver nutrients to your cells, because all of the nutrients have to go to each cell so that the cell can use it to help to sustain it or maintain it alive. So it also very important to keep the brain working well. Oftentimes, a signal that you are dehydrated would be sometimes having headaches. So it is also telling you that. So when you do not take enough fluids in, Azard, what happens? You tend to feel extra tired. You have trouble concentrating and focusing, and you experience headaches and mood changes.
Yes. So we are talking about being hydrated here. And another question, are there any conditions or reasons why we need to increase our water intake?
Yes, very much so. There must be reasons to increase. If you are a person who is having a high activity, you're outdoors, you're hiking, you're doing much more strenuous activities, you work a lot in the sun. Imagine if you are a builder, a construction worker, and you're doing very vigorous activity that exerts yourself, you're going to need to hydrate more or take more water in. If you live in a hot climate like we do, most of the year it is very warm and very humid. You want to make sure that you stay hydrated. If you spend a lot of time outdoors, if you have fevers or you feel like that you've lost fluids through having diarrhea or vomits, and if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, you need extra fluids. So in those instances, you may want to increase the amount of fluids. So if you're exercising vigorously, depending on your climate that you're on, if you spend a lot of time outdoors doing vigorous activities, if you have a fever or you're feeling ill, if you're having diarrhea, so you're losing water through your stools, or if you're vomiting, you're losing your thing, you want to make sure that you stay hydrated. A very important point of noticing where you are in terms of your hydration is to look at your urine. The darker your urine is, that should tell you as a sign that I need to ingest or need to take in more water. The lighter your urine is, or the closer it gets to water, it tells you that, okay, I'm doing well throughout the day. So most of the times when you go to the washroom, if you urinate and you say, okay, all right, it's something that reminds you, I haven't drank enough water. Let me go and get an extra glass. My urine is a bit dark.
Yes, thank you. For those persons who engage in the drinking of alcoholic beverages on a regular basis, what do you say to them in terms of their water intake?
Well, usually once you're going to consume alcoholic beverages, you're going to have to intake more water. You're going to, of course, you're going to want to do that. You want to also avoid having sodas and all these energy drinks. Typically, they contain lots of added sugars too. And you want to then, if you're going to consume alcohol, that's why I often tell persons, if you're at the bar and you're having a drink, every time you have a drink, you have a glass of water, you have a sip of water to try and counteract this, because you lose a lot of water electrolytes through the consumption of alcohol.
Mm-hmm. Also, so now we're going to now go on to what does it mean to take preventative care. What does it mean to make preventative care a priority?
We speak about that all the time, Azard, on our show here, Weekly Dose. Prevention is always better than cure. So don't just go and see a physician when you're sick. You always, as we said, Jamrock, you have to come in for your yearly visit and get your checkup before anything. So you want to stay ahead of things. Some persons think that they only go and see their doctor when they're ill, but that may be just a little bit too late. So you want to get your wellness checks. You want to make sure if you're developing anything that it is called caught early and addressed. Your routine bloods would tell you where you are, looking at your blood count, your hemoglobin. You want to check your cholesterol levels. That is a very important indicator as you get older. So you make the adjustments as you go along, because you want to make sure, are you developing early onset diabetes, or you're pre-diabetic? You want to check your blood pressure, or you're pre-hypertensive, like the blood pressures are going up. Those will then tell you, hey, I need to make some changes in my diet. Hey, I need to exercise more. So these are important. You want to be able, when you go to see your physician at that time, to get your blood pressure check, your blood glucose or your blood sugar check. And as we said, you could do other screening tests, like screening for obesity. You want to check how your body mass index is, see if you need to lose some weight. You want to make sure that you get your vaccinations. You want to do your annual pap smear. And depending on your age, your doctor would then indicate other screening tests that you need. We've spoken about mammograms very often. If you want to have your yearly mammogram once you're above the age of 40, your colonoscopy, your screening colonoscopy once you're above the age of 45, between 45 and 50. And even there's screenings for things like osteoporosis, which we don't do here, and genetic testing as well too. and you can also test for some sexual transmitted disease. So persons who have concerns about their sexual health during the Christmas season, it may be time to get a wellness check, making sure that everything is in order as you go through 2024.
So guys and gals, and I don't want to say children of all ages.
No. Let's
like,
leave. Let's hope the children are safe.
So, for those persons, get your checkup. Get your checkup. Yeah, I often think that you get your yearly checkup either at the start of the year or the end of the year, if not at all, at least once, beginning or end. Another question that I have is, and our final question for this morning is, how do we manage stress in a healthy way?
How do we manage stress in a healthy way? That is a very important one. We know that stress is a part of our everyday life. You're busy, you're doing several different things. This is a world where we're multitasking so much. So we keep ourselves quite active. We've got our kids, we've got our work, we've got our family life, we've got our friends. So research shows that stress does add to most of the following. Your high blood pressure, we've spoken about that, leading to heart disease and stroke. It leads to depression. It weakens your immune system. So all those stress is unavoidable. We've got to make sure that we manage it. How do we manage it? Exercise. We're making a full circle here. So our health tips all play a part in managing our stress. You exercise. You take deep breaths. You see a lot of the yoga that we're doing now, meditation, these types of exercises, relaxation, those are very important to kind of distress us. Stay away sometimes from the news. We talk about most of the news is so negative, and sometimes you want to make sure watch one news program to get the essential if you want to keep up to date, but all of the news is mostly negative.
So you can imagine how it feels being me, Jamster, and when we come here every time talking about the news.
So then you obviously are very stressed out. So after this, you've got to find ways to help relax yourself. Okay, you've got to exercise, breathing, meditation, if you believe in those kind of things. Okay, and anything that you can do. Sometimes persons decompress by reading a book. Okay, stay off of your social media at least some point of the day. Just spend some alone time with you, reflecting. If you're Christian, you want to pray to, those things help to distress you, because lots of problems are as a result of mental health. The increase in violence, different activities. We see all these mass shootings that are happening in the United States. Persons are living in such stress conditions. We need to have better circle of friends too. We're not socializing sometimes enough. Studies have shown, I'm going to have to discuss this because that was fascinating. I saw a study talking about most persons are not having a circle of friends anymore. Most persons are being more and more isolated. It is so much more difficult to make friends. Loneliness is becoming a major problem, leading to stress and leading to some of the outbursts and the different things that we have.
Oh, wow.
So this is just to start off our year. You know, we're going to have lots of different discussions as we go on our weekly dose, and it's always fun to be with you guys. You make it so entertaining.
No problem. It's good having our first show. And as we conclude this segment of Weekly Dose, we want to say thank you. It's our first show, but we've been off on a good note.
Yes,
and we're going to continue it.
Alrighty.
So, guys.
Thanks for the tea.
No problem. It's green tea with lemon.
Okay.
No sugar. Because we're over here sweet enough. And we're all about drinking our tea the most healthy way
and
possible.
Natural, very
natural.
Good, yes.
No processed stuff here.
No. Thank you. That was excellent. That was a good point. Okay, have a great day, everyone.
Yeah, you too.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
When you need better service, Rams is always here.
and builders, here's something you must know. No Caribbean island is safe from earthquakes. We all live within a seismic active zone. But there are measures you can take to minimize the impact of an earthquake. Find out whether your area is zoned for building. Talk to your contractor about what you can do to limit damage. An earthquake can strike at any time.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with WINNFM.
And we are back. It's 9:36, and we've got Kortensia back.
I'm back.
Yes.
And better than ever. That's how they say it. Oh, boy. So I missed Daily Dose.
Yeah, it was good. She,
Nice.
basically tips for how to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so good show, I would say.
Okay, good
Okay,
stuff.
so I actually thought I had, actually when we started, I could have sworn I had sent you guys. There was this New York Times article about pretty much the same thing, which I sent to my wife. I could have sworn I sent it to y'all. Maybe I didn't. So when I realized that was the topic this morning, I said, wait, I was supposed to send that to you guys. But I sent- So you eat whole wheat bread and so on?
How do I put that? No, not really.
You
I'm
don't?
not a.
Okay.
I was a breader during Christmas because it's Christmas time and I made my homemade bread to eat with my pepper pot. But no, I don't bother with the bread. What I do, I eat like 3 or 2 boiled eggs every morning with some salad. I'm trying to increase my protein intake, but I gotta start doing the exercise to go with it.
Okay.
So I can lose the weight faster. So no, I'm not a breader. Mm-mm.
Okay. So, but you go walking and stuff?
I have not in forever.
Okay.
I have not. So surprised Rusty remember me from walking on the bypass. But I have not in a while. I have not climbed. I like to climb, and I have not climbed in a while because where I climb, I was told it could be dangerous for me. You know the extra hill on top of Timothy Hill?
Yeah.
I love to go up there.
Oh, you mean really?
Yeah,
I've never
I've
been
climbed
up
that several days in a row.
What's
The centipedes up there are pretty. I caught one in my room this morning, the same color. Murdered it, literally. The centipedes are pretty. For some reason, I'm not afraid of the centipedes up there, but I'm afraid of the centipedes
Well,
when I
you see them a lot?
Yeah,
Okay, why?
they're creepy crawled.
They're
Plenty
big?
of them. Yeah, big, and they have their yellow and their turquoise. They have pretty colors, and then they match. They match the fauna up there, the trees and
Yeah,
stuff.
uh-huh.
So they blend in. So you just see them walking right in front of you across. I just jump over them and continue up. But I love to climb that hill. Love. The first part, boy, you swear the wind is getting knocked out to you. And then you get around the turn and then that's a break. And then when you continue again, it feels the same way.
So
But
you
once-
mean where you walk off the hill and go up?
Yes, you know the turn off?
And
Where-
they
where-
have reservoir tanks up there? or
Yes,
something?
a big reservoir tank when you get to the top. It's a very nice view up there. Very,
I
very
should go
nice.
up
I
there
did
one
that
day.
several days. You feel like you're on top of the world because when you come down, you look, I'm like, I was up there. I did that several days in a row last July.
I know some cars, some people
Go up
crazy
there.
with the SUVs.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and they have some old vehicles up there. I guess people discard their old vehicles up there or whatever.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
So they drove them and then
for me-
walk back down?
I want to believe that. So me walking up by myself, although sometimes I do see other people walking up and down. I don't, but I was told it's a safety concern. So I have not climbed up there in a minute. I have not climbed Timothy Hill in a minute. When I used to fly, I used to climb a lot in Tortola because I love to climb. I love to hike.
So you guys have weight targets you have to meet flying on a plane? Working on a plane?
It was written in the manual, but they didn't follow it because if they did, some people that were flying would not have been flying.
Okay.
Yeah, but most of us kept ourselves to a certain weight for ourselves, not even because of the book.
Okay.
But it's just that now I'm on the ground and I find my procrastination and laziness has set in. And then sometimes I do so many unnecessary things, I think, because I want to keep everything in order that I don't make the required time to work out. Because I have a little mini gym at home. I have the total gym. And then I have a bike, stationary bike. And then I have weights and I have bands. Jams, I have everything. The one room could be a little gym. But to say I'm doing something, no. I haven't been consistent since last maybe I'll say October. I literally stopped again.
Uh-huh.
So it's to get back on the bandwagon. I know I can. I just have to make the time. Maybe I should get up around, let's say 4 and do something until 5:30.
Yeah.
Maybe I just need to make the time for it and make it quick because time is running out. Because I had a goal wait for the end of this month and it's not going to happen. It's bad. It's bad.
We have time.
What am I going to do? Starve myself? I can't, you know. You see, yesterday I forgot. I took my medication and I didn't think I ate yesterday morning. So as I was sitting there, I just felt my hands started to shake. And that's when I knew, oh my God, my sugar is low. And then the instant headache. Let me tell you, I woke out here yesterday with a migraine. I don't know how I made it. I went home, went to the shower, just let the water run over me. And then I went straight into my bed until after 1 yesterday. I couldn't. I drank to a leave. My eyes was falling out. I was feeling bad. So once I take my medication and I forget to eat, problems. But I didn't realize I forgot to eat. I don't know.
happens to the best of us.
I didn't know. I am trying to figure out how did I forget to eat yesterday morning? Because I made tuna, but maybe I didn't eat it. Yeah, I didn't eat. So with the medication, and then I drank the tea that I made, which was the turmeric and ginger, and that along with insulin drives your sugar low if you don't eat. So that's why I couldn't even finish my tea. I had to leave it because once I realized my hands started, I'd be like, yeah, Kortensia, you're in trouble now. Thank God I had a granola bar in my bag. So for those of you that see me eating yesterday, I was eating to put my sugar right back up, or else we would have been in some trouble yesterday morning.
Yeah, I remember you were eating a granola bar.
So I don't want them to think that I was just eating because I could have eaten, but that's what happened to me yesterday. Still can't believe I forgot.
Did you like the bar I gave you?
Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. Yeah, I like the apples and stuff. So I had 2 bars in successions, one behind the other when I went down. Whilst I was waiting on my husband to pick me up, I had the second one. Yeah, it was really nice. So, but Jamster, one time you hear whole grain is good, and then the next time you hear it's not good. Or whole wheat is good.
No, I've never heard that.
You've never heard that? I swear I can pull up something now that says that it isn't good for you because it's... something I know it shouldn't be.
Are you talking about the gluten? But there's nothing wrong with gluten. It's just that some people can't process
handle
gluten.
Something about it. Let me see if I can find it.
But there's nothing wrong with gluten because if some of these cereals don't have gluten, you wouldn't be able to bake bread with them because nothing would stick together.
Let me give you a joke about that, right? So I have this Bob's Mills coconut flour. Jamster, my pancakes won't come together for the likes of nothing. I swear I have to go put actual flour in there.
Coconut flour. Yeah, you can't.
It's not coming together.
Yeah, you can't use that because that wouldn't have gluten. Coconut doesn't have gluten
but
in it.
But it has a recipe for it. I've YouTubed everything to get to stay together. When I add more flour, it doesn't stay together. It still comes out like piece. But these people have their pancakes together, so what do they have in them?
I love coconut.
I add the extra eggs. I want to say I've wasted 4 eggs and they're still not coming together.
I love coconut. You ever seen the coconut sugar?
No.
Yeah.
Coconut
Bob's
sugar?
Mill too, yeah.
No.
I've seen that, yeah.
But then they need to unhook that pancake because then it's not working for me. What am I doing that's wrong?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
I have to keep trying.
And it doesn't call for regular flour, but you have to add some.
No, I haven't. I will. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to add some today and I'm going to tell you how it worked. Because I want it because it's high protein. And I want the high protein along with the exercise.
Where's
that
my
should
spinach?
help me. Huh?
Where's my spinach?
I forgot. Okay, I promise you I'm going to pick it this afternoon and I'm going to fridge it. Put a note on the fridge so when I come in, I'll take it out in the morning. Sorry, I forgot.
No problem.
My old brains, and you didn't remind me. But I thought there was something that says, let me look for it. That says whole grain is bad for you.
No, I never heard that.
I just think these people don't want us to eat. That's how I feel, Jamster. They don't want us to eat. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I remember when we were seesawing from one factoid about food to the next. Oh, eggs are good for you. Oh no, eggs are not good for you.
Yeah, they're just to be killing people.
I just decided no. I'm just gonna eat what I want to eat because at least I'm not one to overdo anything.
Mm-hmm.
I try to deal with moderation. So even if I eat something decadent, I mean, it's not like I'm gonna sit down and eat off a whole bucket of KFC, you know, KFC chicken or something like that.
Exactly.
You know, so it's just ridiculous how they keep, and then they used to tell us what. I mean, like, for example, when I see recipes that says, "Oh, just the egg," I don't even bother with that. I just use the whole egg. Ridiculous.
Because what am I supposed to do? Throw away the rest?
Yeah, ridiculous.
I
Or
don't
egg
know.
white. So
I think half of these things, like gluten-free and all kind of things, is man-made things, because they make you think, oh, gluten-free is better, no GMOs,
no, but it's only better if you have celiac disease. There's nothing wrong with gluten, really. It's just that some people can't process it.
But
that's when they have celiac disease, so they have.
It's crazy. Well, everything
I have a problem.
Oh boy.
And I hear people, oh, it's gluten-free. I'm like, yeah, but there's no reason to be eating stuff gluten-free unless you're sick. You have celiac disease. There's nothing wrong with gluten. Gluten is
because we're messing with our bodies and telling our bodies what it should and shouldn't eat. That when we eat what we should eat, we get sick.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing here, I swore I saw something, but everything else I see says it's good for you, because it even mentioned whole grain foods are a good choice for a nutritious diet. Whole grains provide fiber, vitamins, mineral, and other nutritions. Whole grain food help control cholesterol levels, weight, and blood pressure. These foods also help lower the risk of diabetes, heart disease, and other conditions.
Is that the thing I said?
No, that's something I just pulled up on Google. Yeah, I'm looking.
Well, I noticed
5 grains to avoid weight. 5 grains are prohibited: wheat, rye, barley, oats, and spelt. Why? Because these grains begin to ferment and rise when they come into contact with water for 18 minutes.
Really?
You see, I don't understand, It's good on one hand, and then they're telling you. But we know that's why we soak. Well, the vintage parents taught us how to soak oats before we cook it. Now people probably just throw it over in the... We soaked everything. We soaked the cream of wheat. We soaked the cornmeal. We soaked the barley before we boiled it. We soaked the oats.
Oh, barley. I've never... I think...
Yeah, I love me some barley tea, Jeez.
Well, I like it in soup. Like, I buy this soup mix that has barley and a mixture of peas and beans.
Okay.
For soup.
No, I like barley tea. Now you're making me wish for some. Yeah, you boil it and then you strain it. You boil it with spices and stuff, and oh boy, just add your milk to that. That's a nice thick tea.
I've had that before.
Yeah.
As a kid. No, as soon as you... Yes, I've seen...
Yeah, I don't think those things exist anymore.
One of my grandparents used to do that.
Barley tea.
As soon as...
And then sometimes you get a little extra barley in the bottom of your cup, so that mixed with the sugar and the milk tastes real good. Oh boy, I miss the days of powder milk. We had this milk in Ghana called Fern Leaf. I used to like to mix that with sugar and eat that alone. Boy, look at, as a kid we ate funny, not knowing that in the long run we would have these non-communicable diseases that we didn't ask for. But yeah.
You want to take a call?
Sure. Caller, go ahead. You're live on Island T.
12 minutes. Make that 11 minutes to 10. Caller.
Good morning.
Hey.
Yeah, good morning.
Hey, what's up?
I want you saying, right? There is some who would tell you wheat, barley, rye ain't no good.
Mm-hmm.
But then you see, knowledge is power. If you look at it, almost everything may be no good. It's moderation. Everything is moderation. If you drink too much water, it kill you. It's moderation. Now we're going on to politics now. We have a problem. The problem is that the people in authority does not know how to play the game. What we've been doing in these class, we just told people, like, let me say something. Azard said something a couple days ago. Azard said, in referencing choosing candidates, why lawyers would probably make better candidates or something to that effect, is because they're more financially independent or stable. I don't disagree with that. We do not, if you are a lawyer You went study law. You're a doctor. You study medicine. Now, if you tell me you study management, I could be partial to you. Because the business of a country is management. And a person ain't got to be a doctor or a lawyer. And it has been proven with the politicians that we have presently, and we've been having over a couple of years, that they don't do it. The brightest of people is who causing the problem. If we take these people and we put them in because he's a doctor, no. You must put competent people, people with experience, with knowledge, or whatever you're dealing with. Just like TDC wouldn't hire most of these people to be the manager, to manage the business, because they know nothing about it. But we will take these same people and put them to manage the country business, which is the biggest business. The government affairs is the biggest business in any country. Now, you know the solution? The solution is this. Sean and Tim make up, form an alliance, country above self. They could bring Nagita, put the team together, move forward and run the country in a proper way, how we should be. Timothy Finance, Dougie Farren, Sean PM. Have a good day.
Cool. Now he makes a good point. A lot of these guys would not cut it. They would not cut it in the public sector. It's true.
But then and you see he mentioned Mr. Richards, Mr. Harris, and Mr. Douglas. And that's why I'm saying, right? That's what I'm saying. It should be country above self. It should be that we come together for the common good to build a sustainable island state, and not to look at what we can all get from this situation. Because sometimes when you look at government and coalitions, etc., it all boils down, and as the person said on the Facebook page this morning, to greed and the fight. I want this, I want that. And they're not working for the common good of the citizens and themselves, because they too are citizens. Mm-hmm. If we have a sustainable island state where we can stand on our own, then we won't need to import a lot of things. We won't need a lot of help from other countries. We can in turn help them, as Rusty mentioned yesterday, helping Taiwan. Mm-hmm. But we're not looking. We say country above self, but are we really country above self in St. Kitts and Nevis?
I think it's every man for himself.
I like that. Yeah. They should really change the motto, every man for himself, because the way it's happening now is in fighting. And if the propaganda and this is real and people continue to hear it and make it more...
And basically, like I always say, everybody's just after the bag.
Yeah. The bag that we're all going to die and leave, right?
No, well, yeah, exactly. The bag that
we can't carry it with us.
They don't care about that, though.
We can't carry it with us.
Because they think their chances of dying prematurely are slim. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You saw Tortola just lost a minister, and I was shocked. 64. He just died, and he was the health minister, and they were saying he did such a great job during the pandemic when they had COVID-19 in the BVI. So condolences to his family over there. So I don't know. That's pretty young to me. 64.
Yeah.
So I said, long time we buried elderly folks, or as we said, old people, and now we're burying young people and middle-aged people. Nobody's living to... Most people aren't living to get their 3 scores and 10.
Because, trust me, 60 anything is not constant. It's not old. It's
and
not
he looks
old.
good. If that's the most recent picture, he looks good. 64.
Makes you wonder what's going on, where you see pictures from back then, and someone in their 60s look like they were 80-something, and you know what I mean? And I guess
I think the people back then aged well. You could have hardly guessed their age. There's still some of them that work as hard on the sugar plantations that attend my church, and
Well,
I can't believe those ladies' ages.
I guess they carried themselves old. Maybe that's what it was. I mean, take for example, like, you know, some people, you see some people who are grandparents, and you're like, get out of here about you're a grandparent.
Yeah, they look great.
You know? You're like, yeah, please.
Uh-huh.
But and then there's the concerning aspect where someone is a grandparent because their offspring got a child really young.
Really young, yes.
You know, so that's a problem as well.
Because there's this basketball star. His girlfriend is in her 40s, and she's a grandparent, and she looks his age, because I think he is.
You're talking
20.
about that Pippin.
Not Pippin. No.
Pippin
No. That's not real. I'm talking about this black woman being a real woman from head to toe, okay? And she is 40 something, and her boyfriend is, I can't remember who he plays for. He is 20 something, and she looks his age, and he could take her age, and she's a grand.
And she has grandparents. Grandchildren.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
She looks, Jam, so you won't believe she's 40 something. She looks 20 something. She looks like his age. As I said, he can take her age, and he can give her his. She looks excellent, and she doesn't have any enhancement. She just looks good.
Yeah, I've seen
Not Larsa, no.
I've seen some older women where I go, yeah, she could get it. She could really get it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You do have some older women that look excellent, especially where the black don't crack. Yeah, but
black don't crack.
Larsa did too many things to her body and her face and everything. That's not real anymore. No, we need the real
and then
stuff.
you get the sense of those people that they home in on certain people who have money. Because, you know, she was with Carty Pippin, and, you know, she's latched on to, is it
Jordan's son now? It's like they still want to be relevant. I never understand. I don't know, because most of there's a series called Basketball Wives, and most of the wives are divorced. I don't know. There's only one wife on there, and that's Jackie Christie, because everybody else is divorced. I don't know why they call themselves basketball wives, but all of them were with basketball players at some point, married.
Do you believe in this narrative that black men don't like? That black men
don't like black women when they have a certain and don't you see them they always get in trouble? Do you see Jonathan Majors now?
Yeah,
although he gave an interview, but to me it's still sketchy, because he's like, he should not have been in the vehicle that day. He should not have put her back in the vehicle.
But also, why would they find him guilty? I mean, he didn't do anything wrong.
He didn't do anything.
He's trying to run away from no man.
Well, but then how did she end up where she ended up and being knocked out on the floor? Maybe what happened then, Jamsa? That part is sketchy. But as I said, to each his own. And now, who is holding his hand? A black woman. What he should have had from the beginning. But when they are famous and they have money, the black woman can't cut it. The white woman presents a more they have a better persona.
What's the name again with a fine self? What's the name?
I don't even know.
Oh God. Megan Good.
Megan Good. Oh, you're talking about the black woman.
Jonathan, yeah.
Yeah, I know the black woman. I don't know the other.
Yeah.
I don't know the other ethnicity woman. No. I don't know her at all. Yeah, but she too. I was surprised she's divorced and then in love again. How does that work?
You mean
That's
Megan?
too fast. Yeah, because she was married for almost 10 years.
She was married to a pastor or something. Yeah.
And now she's finding love in the Marvel. What do you call him? The Marvel nemesis for.
I always have concerns about the way Americans, you know, the culture is so permissive and, let's say, liberal about so many things that even when people are supposedly Christians, you see them dressing.
That type of way.
I'm like, is that really appropriate for someone? But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember when they had a church thing and a lady attacked her and her husband defended her. I wonder how he feels now, because the lady be like, you're going to start covering up, right? And he'd be like, no, you're not going to talk to my wife like that. She's going to dress however she wants. And I'd be like, wow.
This is the thing. I wonder which God these people are following. Because it clearly says in the Bible you have to dress modestly.
Modestly, yeah. You don't have to wear your long frock to the ground and cover your eyes like you are of a
saying
different
that,
religion.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. But yeah, and I said, I wonder how he feels now, because maybe that all of the ladies should not have come for her like that.
Well, the lady didn't do anything wrong.
But there's a place, and I don't know if she was given the word to tell her to cover up because of how she was still dressing, because she's a pastor's wife.
We don't know how she said it, but I'm sure maybe she said it.
Yeah, I know how she said it. I listened to the whole thing.
So was it inappropriate, you thought?
No, but maybe she shouldn't have said it, because she said, "You're gonna cover up now, right? You're gonna cover up now that you're married to a pastor, right?"
I don't see anything wrong with that.
So that's why I said I don't think it was inappropriate, but maybe she shouldn't have said anything to her. But then we might not say anything, but the fact that she had the guts to say something, and then he allowed her, now it's nothing. It's done. It's done with. That's why they really say, you don't follow. When you see people and their relationships, don't envy them and don't follow them, because they wrote a book about the weight, and I'm sure they had millions of people reading that book because it was a bestseller, a New York Times bestseller. And now to see them, now to see them flop, no, everybody gonna be. That's why. Do your own relationship, do your own thing. Do not look at people, and do not emulate people. You might find some wise folks that run in your circle that can give you great advice, but you still can't be like them, because everybody's situation is different. That's why I say I idolize nobody. I don't look up to anybody. As I tell people, I don't even look up. I don't even serve my God the way I should. Why am I looking up to this person again? No.
Did you hear about the TD Jakes thing? Speaking of these religious
is that even true?
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not true. I don't know.
Because I just find sometimes social media have a bunch of nonsense on there for us to pay attention to. Because they said he was arrested.
TD Jakes?
That's the last thing I see.
Arrested for what?
That's why I don't believe it, because it looks like all put together like AI.
It's probably some AI stuff.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. But then I never trust any of those guys anyway.
But that Pastor Jenkins, man, he's crazy too. I don't know.
Jenkins?
Yeah. Gino, the one that's after TDJ.
Jennings, yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand. Jennings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's on a different level, man. He too with his thing. I can't. I have to follow God. I can't follow religion. I can't. The Lord has the Old and the New Testament. They're supposed to work together, so let's work together for the common good.
Some of these pastors are a little too theatrical.
Exactly, and he's one. He has his reader, he has his antics, and I'm like, sit down.
I don't.
Sit down.
And you have someone specially to read this.
Yeah.
Give me a break. All this stuff.
That's too much. Let's just serve our God. Let's just serve God. People want God. What are we fighting? Oh, my denomination better than your denomination. No. Let us. Listen, Jesus is going to get us, Jesus is going to get us jumps, and we can be like, wow, such a simple man, and this was us behaving this bad whilst we were on the earth. Mm-hmm. That's why people don't like to follow Christian people, and it's sad, because we're supposed to be the people to lead them, and then we don't.
Yes. Okay, so on that note, we are going to go home and...
You're going to lead them back to work?
Who?
The folks that are listening.
Oh, well...
Although, folks, we know you are working while you listen. Thank you for listening this morning. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for your calls. We appreciate it all. We're going to do this again tomorrow. Same place, same time. And Jams, get a little rest.
Yes, I will.
You look like you need it bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Found the sound 98.9 WINNMedia FM.
Buildings damaged by an earthquake are dangerous. This is not the time for sightseeing. You could be in personal danger, and your presence could hamper emergency responses. Also, stay away from areas prone to landslides, low-lying coastal areas, lakes, and streams that lead to the ocean. Do not head for the coast until local authorities tell you that the danger of a tsunami has passed. Curiosity can kill.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with WINNFM.
Inland Revenue Department.
Fasten your frequency. Smart's e-government portal update is presented by Janicia Jeffers. Elevate your tax game with Smarts. Here's another game changer for Smart's e-government portal users. The power to amend your tax return online. If you have initially submitted your return online and need to make changes, it is now easier than ever. Even more exciting, if your revised amount is higher than the initial tax amount, Smarts will automatically assess your return, and you would be accessible immediately in the e-government portal. No more waiting. Your updated tax situation is swiftly taken care of. Smart's e-government portal is all about convenience and efficiency. Stay in control of your tax affairs, make amendments hassle-free, and enjoy a smarter tax experience.